Today we're going to be doing a quick tutorial of how to change the color of something in a scene. In today's example, we're going to be using clothing, and we're going to be doing this using the qualifier in the color page. Let's get into it. So as you guys can see in our scene here, we have this man wearing a tan jacket, and we're going to figure out how to take this tan jacket to perhaps a purple jacket. Also, something very important to note is in order to use this feature, you guys will need the paid version of Resolve because we're going to be using some of the AI features that are built into it. And so the first thing that we're going to do is just grab our video clip and drag it into our scene. And then we are just immediately going to jump into the color page. And this is where we're going to be doing most of our work today. Now, the first thing that you guys are going to want to make sure that you have selected in order to see the things that we're going to be doing today is this highlight feature right here. It looks like a little circle, and you'll know that it's selected if it's lit up. So I have that selected, and then we want to jump down into the qualifier right here, this little eyedropper. And we're just going to take this eyedropper and drag it along the jacket because that is the color that we want to change today. And as you can see, we've grabbed a good amount of the jacket, but if you zoom in, there's a lot of little pieces of the jacket that aren't selected. So in order to add to our selection, you're going to come down here in the lower left and click Pick or Add. It's a little eyedropper with a plus sign next to it. And you're just going to go back into your image and add things to your selection by clicking on them. So right now, I'm just going to jump into these highlighted parts of the jacket and add them into our selection. And as you guys can see, this is adding more to regions of the image that we don't want. And that's okay because we're going to go back in later and we are going to crop all of those out and we're going to motion track it so it's not a problem throughout the rest of the video. So I'm looking now and we have most of this selected. This is about as exact as I think I want to make it today. You can make this as precise or as not precise as you want. And so the next thing that I want to just show you guys is from here, how would we change the color of his jacket? Now, of course, it's not going to be perfect because we don't also want this part of his face to change. But if we want to just change the color of the things that we have selected right now, you're going to come over here to the curves section. You're going to click on it. And right now we have this table showing, but we actually want to switch it over to the second option. If you hover over it, it says hue versus hue. You're going to click on that. And if you mark a dot anywhere on the hue versus hue chart and you move it around, you're going to see that we can completely change the color of our selection. Let's say we want it to be this like kind of purplish, pinkish purple color, right? But like I said, we have other parts of the image selected or of the video selected. How do we cut those out? Next, what we're going to be doing is clicking on the window feature, which looks like this little circle selection, and you're going to scroll down to this little pen looking icon, and I want you guys to click on it. Then what we're going to be doing with the pen is drawing a mask around the part of the image that we want to include in the color correcting. And so we're picking the pen because this allows us to draw a more precise image. If we used the square, that would be great if we were going around something that was a square, but we're not. We have a very irregular shape. And so now what I'm going to be doing is just drawing little dots all the way around this man's jacket. And as you guys can see, we're going to be able to crop out the sections that the highlight has grabbed that we do not want included in our track, okay? And so we're going to be just literally going around the entire jacket. And again, like I said before, you can be as precise as you want to. I'm not planning on using this clip for anything, so I'm just going to get a rough outline of everything. Again, you guys can see that I'm clearly cropping out the sections of the image that I do not want. Also, it's going to be pretty important to make sure that you're never going into the image, if that makes sense. Like if I put a dot right here, this entire section of the jacket would be cut out. So there'd be a very clear line distinguishing the purple from the original khaki color, if that makes sense. So you're just going to want to make sure to never go directly into the jacket. But I can see that around here, we don't want any of that selected. I'm going to come down here. We're almost done. And in this particular video, there is some camera movement, so it goes up and down. And so in order to just capture the camera movement, I'm actually going to connect this mask below where the actual image stops. And you guys can see that immediately all of that stuff from the outside just magically disappeared, which is amazing. But now we have a new problem. This mask only works in the first frame of this video. And so in order to make sure that this mask works for like in all parts of the video, what we're going to do next is we're going to track it forwards and backwards. And so to do that, you come over here to the tracker feature. And so since I have the playhead at the very beginning, at the first frame, what I can do is I can just track this forwards. But if you guys were in the middle of this, you could track it forwards and backwards, and that will do the exact same thing. I'm going to track it forwards and backwards because it's going to do the exact same thing. Doesn't really matter. And so you guys can see now we've tracked this jacket all the way throughout the shot, but there is one problem that I'm noticing. I don't know if you guys are able to see it too. It might be more clear if we jump into the edit page. I'm actually going to do that. We're going to come into the edit page, and oh my gosh, magic, his jacket is pink. Honestly, it's looking pretty good. But as I scrub through, I'm going to zoom in on his jacket. I'm going to scrub through, and I want you guys to tell me if you can see anything. Yeah, we have a problem that starts to emerge, which is the track started to shift and not capture his entire jacket. So you can see we have this very jarring cutout where his jacket is no longer purple, and there is a way to fix that. So in order to do that, we are going to jump back into the color page. And what you guys are going to do is normally, I think on most defaults, we have our scopes open. And the scopes is this little kind of wavy looking line in the bottom right, right above where my video is. But what we're going to do is next to that on the left, we have the keyframes feature. I'm actually going to click that. And I know that my video is blocking this a little bit, but the most important thing is just looking over here. And so in order to fix this problem that's presented itself in Resolve, I am just going to be selecting the automatic keyframing feature. And in order to do this, again, you open the keyframes editor, and what I'm going to do is click this diamond button next to corrector 1, make sure that it's red, and now we've enabled automatic keyframing. And so what we're going to be doing throughout the shot is we're going to be shifting those keyframes that we set with the window. These are all keyframes, right? We're going to be shifting that with the video. And I know that kind of sounds weird, so it's going to make a lot more sense when you watch it. So as the playhead scrubs forward, I'm just going to keep a close eye on when this window that we've created isn't quite working anymore. So I'm scrubbing over, and I can see that now right in this area, it's getting cut off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to maybe about here, and I'm going to just move each of these over in order to show the tracker that I actually do want this included in our selection. So I'm pulling all of these out. And so what you guys can see is as I've moved all of these out in this frame, it's created a keyframe in the keyframe editor right here. And so now what Resolve is going to do is it's going to animate these keyframes from the first place that we put them to the second place automatically. So if I scrub through here now, oh my goodness, it's magic, right? But again, if I move past where we set this keyframe, it's going to start shifting back to where we originally put it in the beginning. Also, a quick little tip is if you click Shift and click, I can grab multiple of these and just pull them out all together, which is a nice feature. Okay, guys, we're looking pretty good. If I scrub all the way through, it looks like we've captured his entire jacket in this animation. And so now just to confirm that, I am going to jump over to the edit page and just make sure that everything is included as we scrub through this shot. And you can see that it is. We have his entire jacket changed, which is really lovely. Now, if you really zoom in here, you'll notice that there are a few spots that the qualifier did not grab. And so what you guys can go and do is jump back into the edit page, open up the qualifier, and you can, or I'm sorry, the qualifier, and make sure that the add feature is selected. And you guys can come in here and be as precise as you want with that capture. And then you can go back in with the window tool as needed. So I hope that helps for anyone who was looking for some quick tips on how to change the color of some clothing using DaVinci Resolve. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.